Welcome to episode 3. It's New Vision Spiritual Center channel. I'm Jason. Today I wanted to talk about the mind-brain connection, what it is, why it's important, and how it all affects everything I've been talking to and about up until now. I don't want to go into too deep of a recap of everything, but just wanted to talk about the mind today, and why. Your innermost dominant thoughts becomes your outermost tangible reality, right? So let me say that again. Your innermost dominant thought becomes your outermost tangible reality. Just let that sink in for a second. So in the last 2 episodes, we talked about overcoming fears, and I gave a technique that I used in order to overcome my fears and gain control over my life and things that I've been doing up until now. It's getting easier and easier for me to get in front of this computer here and talk out loud, and hopefully I can transition that into actually getting up in front of people one day. But there's the technique is to find and recognize a core thought about myself that lies deep in the subconscious. And then when you find and address that, then you can change and take steps to change it. The path to self-mastery is a matter of discovering what it is you think about yourself and then getting a handle on that. Once you gain an understanding of the concepts that motivate our thoughts and our actions, as well as the resulting patterns of behavior that go along with that and work through you or me or all of us, we can begin to change our responses to situations. In essence, we begin to change our minds. And when we change our minds, we can start to see changes in our life because, like I said a little while ago, our innermost thoughts become our outermost tangible reality. So our minds are like a computer. As a matter of fact, computers have been designed in the image of our minds, which is it's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go in today because there's some depth to that statement that about creating computers and being creation and all that kind of stuff, and we can tackle that on another day. But by the way, please leave a comment, corrective criticisms, how I can get better. I'm still working on my speech patterns and how to get better at all of this. So give me a like, a share, a follow, comments, future topics that you'd like to hear me talk about. All of that good stuff. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, like a computer, our mind has a fundamental operating system, programs that are running without us even being aware of them or having to think about it, right? On top of this operating system, the computer has software programs and applications that are designed to perform specific functions and tasks. They provide us an end result that the user needs, all based on input and code. Right? So each program responds to input and then goes into action to present the end result associated with the coding provided to it, right? So, you can kind of probably see where I'm going here, that our minds respond the same way to the coding and the information that we put into it, right? So does this sound familiar, right? Replace computer with mind in the last sentence that I just said, and the analogy becomes clear. The mind also has an operating system that performs specific functions based on the information programmed into it, right? So obviously, we have many programs that are constantly running just to keep our body moving, our regulated functioning, breathing, blood pumping, lungs breathing, all that stuff happens without us even having to think about it, right? These are automatic programs that are constantly running without us thinking. But with enough practice, we can alter these programs too. But that again is the topic for another video, for another day. But our minds function on many levels, but can generally be divided into two things: the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is what we are using right now. You're watching this video, you're taking in the information. It's the realm of the senses. It receives information and reacts accordingly. It is our survival mechanism. It's how we make our way through the world, our senses. Our subconscious mind is the part that contains all of the deeper software programs that we use for how to act and react and respond to external stimuli. It gathers data and input without the conscious mind even being aware of it, right? Because it's all happening at once. And this gathering of information through processing, perceptions, memory, learning, thoughts, stimulates the programs and applications based on the information given to them, right? So this in turn influences how we react to stimuli. So what that all basically says, that all these programs are running on perceptions and thoughts that you've had and information that you've gathered, and then we act accordingly through decisions we make, or how we react in a situation, verbal responses to people, how we act, how we move around. So one way to understand the analogy of the mind and computer program is to see the computer program or application as a concept. What concept has your mind been programmed with? These concepts your mind get triggered and go into action when one or more is affected by our senses, right? Or any input from the senses that acts as a facilitator, making a subconscious concept within aware of the need for a response, right? And this is the moment, right? This is the moment where the subconscious mind and the conscious mind meet, because based on all the subconscious programs running in our head, a pre-programmed response based on years of subconscious gathering of our life's past experience begins a new cycle based on a situation that we run into, right? These pre-programmed responses are also called patterns of behavior, right? So the patterns of behavior we have in our lives are all based on programming that we've been receiving starting since our formative years up until this very moment. And we're going to discuss behavior patterns a lot on this channel. But background into how the mind works and how the brain and the mind work together, because it's two different things working together as a unit. It's essential to understanding how to change them for the better in order to make our lives better, make better decisions, and just get into that constant communication with our highest self. Patterns of behavior, like I said, are created in our formative years to validate a concept as being true, right? So I'm trying to think of an example. Always being late, procrastination, these kinds of issues. But what if the information that we're basing these patterns of behavior on is flawed? What if we received faulty programming? What if we are basing all of our lives' perceptions on faulty information or bad information? If you, like me, have been trapped in a cyclical behavior response pattern, this is exactly the problem. Whether it's picking up drugs or getting into an abusive relationship that seems to kind of repeat itself over and over and over again, even if the partner's different, the outcome's the same. It's cyclical, right? And so, Buddha says, what we think, we become, right? And said another way, there's a universal teaching that says what is within will manifest without, and it gets back to the statement I said in the very beginning about your innermost dominant thought becoming your outermost tangible reality. All of it is based on the fact that we create our reality. So I've been talking a lot about the mind, right? But isn't the brain the same thing? What about the brain? We tend to use brain and mind kind of as synonyms, but they're actually two different things. The mind is the program. It's the inner part. The brain is the physical housing that contains the mind, right? The brain actually, I'm not going to get into the whole anatomy of it, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But the brain is a powerful electromagnetic generator that constantly emits electromagnetic waves, thoughts, that attract charged particles of matter. This extends out to and includes people and human beings and situations, right? Particles form molecules. Molecules are the building block of all things. Thus, like a magnet, our brain, based on our mind's concepts and instructions, both conscious and subconscious, draws people and things to us. And that's why we tend to repeat the same patterns over and over and over. And we are co-creating our reality. We're co-creating the events in which our relationships play out based on our concepts, our beliefs, our patterns of behavior, or our computer programs, right? And also, if you focus the mind a certain way, you can repel or deflect people or situations, either beneficial or not beneficial, for our own good. Kind of gives a whole new meaning to being created in God's image, if you think about it. To wrap up, in order to kind of just realize what the mind and the brain, the importance of it and how it contains all of our thoughts and our preconceived behavior patterns, and in order to realize what it all is and how we can change it, because we do in fact have the power to co-create our own reality, right? And in order to do that, we have to realize what the programs that we've been putting in our heads have been, and the negative, sometimes, not always, but sometimes negative results that result from that. Going back to my first couple videos, I shared that, after meditating and thinking and going through all of my pre-programmed ideas and concepts and perceptions about myself, I finally came to the discovery. I found the code, the source of one of my problems. I was able to finally isolate the situation that put that thought in my head, and then that program kind of just went off on its own and grew and spread into a whole history of me of procrastination and putting things off and avoidance behavior and drugs and all kinds of stuff, because deep inside, whether I knew it or not, I was telling myself I was afraid, even though I didn't know it. So, I hope you get something out of this video today. This is my message for the day, is just kind of laying the groundwork for our mind and our brain and these concepts of behavior patterns and things that I'm going to be talking about. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for listening. Like and follow, and I hope to see you next week. Take care.